Hey everybody, I'm PJ to Caesar,
And I'm Murphagator.
and this is our Gauntlet run, which conveniently was recorded exactly 5 years ago.
Yeah, kind of crazy how that worked out.
Suspicious timing. This is
Did we
from
get we
yeah,
got the weird entry.
yeah, we did. It was a perfect start. One of us was completely absent from the lobby. I don't know if you made it in the door immediately or if it was me, but yeah,
Yeah,
one
I
of us
don't
did. Yeah, so this is obviously the old version of Gauntlet 2014. I think this is patch 1.02, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We could have done it on the earlier ones, but this one was fine.
Mm-hmm.
After this patch, they like sort of fixed it where like you could do this, but it would be really really hard.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it wouldn't change the route, if I remember right. It would just make it take more attempts.
Yeah.
So we opted to not do that. And I think the final time, I think we used in-game time, or the sum of in-game times for this.
Yeah.
And that came up to be 46.55 and some change.
I don't know, probably. You'll probably have it in the video description or something. So
Yeah, that's what SDA says, and I trust SDA. I like that. I got hit through the floor by the ghosts. That happens sometimes.
floor ghosts are pretty great.
Wow, this layout's great. All right, so
Yeah,
this run's probably a bit confusing. So we're using what were arguably the two worst characters in this version of the game. Warrior certainly was the worst. And
Warrior was by far the worst.
And Wizard is definitely not good. Valkyrie by far is the best, so I guess it's just like Wizard or Elf, whoever you want to be the second place. But we're doing this because Warrior has this slam dunk ability, which is really convenient for this OOB. So
Yeah, the elf can set it up, but it's really unreliable.
yeah, like the Elf's roll kind of oscillates between inbounds and out of bounds. Whereas the Warrior just gives you like this huge cluster of frames that are out of bounds.
So the way the Warrior's attack works is he does this stance charge up, and then when you release it, he starts running, and then you can hit the attack, and he does this jump attack.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the entire animation of the jump attack does not properly calculate collision online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way the OOB works is that the game like tracks your position pretty well within like the level geometry when you're alive, but when you're dead, it's a little bit, or rather, like when you use certain attacks, it's a little bit more flexible. And when you're dead and you respawn on the position of your ally. So we can time a respawn when Murph is out of bounds during that particular attack and spawn out of bounds. So
Yeah.
that's why we use Warrior, and we use Wizard for instances like this. This Fire Dash gives him a huge amount of like horizontal movement, and it's required for certain skips like this, where
That one, it sucked. Yeah.
it's so good. So we use the Boots relic, which allows me to move faster, and then a very precisely angled Fire Dash to land like exactly on the edge of that doorway. Because there's like a big trench that cuts in the middle of that stage, so you can't just like walk on the ceiling and go straight to the exit like we can through most of these other ones. You need to do something to get across that gap.
Yeah. The routing for this was really really interesting. There's the way the boundaries are set up and the way where you can be out of bounds and where you can't is made it really challenging to route some of these stages.
Yeah.
And then there's three different types of stages that are in each like bigger stage. They're like there's three sub stages. The first sub stage will be like a set layout stage, like a standard style of stage.
Yeah, sometimes like a puzzle level.
Yeah, a lot of times like a puzzle or some gimmick that you're supposed to go through. The second sub-level is always this kind of randomly generated linear map And in this world, you can walk on the ceiling of that. So we just kind of do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third sub-level is like an arena battle thing. And usually you can just shove somebody through the wall and go through the exit on those. So a lot of this game is not done correctly.
Yeah, I don't think we do any of the first stages properly. Any of the like puzzle stages.
Yep, not a single one of the puzzle stages is done completely. One arena stage, namely this one, is done correctly, which ironically is the thing we figured out how to do this OOB, or more accurately, that it just accidentally happened.
Yeah, we were playing 3-player with Murphagator, the two of us and Murphagator. Yeah, and Mecha died at some point and spawned on the floor in the middle there. And he's like, "Hello, guys, how'd I get down here?" And I was watching him and laughing, and I died because I wasn't paying attention, and I respawned on him down on the floor. So yeah,
we lost.
Yeah, we lost because we couldn't get through the door and we couldn't die.
Yeah, but anyway, in a weird twist of fate, this particular arena, they have 2 separate doorways. And because of the limitations on how often you can respawn, that meant by the time we would have been able to OOB through both doors, we can just win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, too. We're playing on... Oh, shit. What's the highest difficulty called?
Unfair.
Unfair, that's it. We're playing on that one. I think... Do you get infinite continuous in hard mode, too, or is it just normal?
Coins? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember for sure. I think the only difference between hard and unfair is that there's no food drops, actually.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you get the golden turkeys in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're playing on...
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're playing on this difficulty just to really stick it to the game. But it means that we only get 1 try at most of these OOBs. So when you die, you can only respawn if you have a coin, which is in the upper right. And you start each stage with 1. And you earn more as you kill enemies. And then there's like some multiplier for combos and some other stuff, I think. But anyways, the end result is that you start with 1, and to earn more, you have to waste time.
Yeah, and that comes up significantly so one other time in the run, but mostly it's pretty negligible for what we're doing. Usually one good OOB gets us where we want to be.
Yeah. These stages, man. So they're all randomly generated, as Murph said. So after I get put through this gate, I just like literally guess a direction and hope that the exit is that way.
Yeah, we kind of like right when the stage starts, kind of try and poke our heads up to get at least some kind of glance at what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But you're seeing like the first maybe 1% of the map.
Yeah, and then you get some of them like this, where you see a disconnect and then another room, and you're like, oh no.
Did it circle around? Going, which way's it going now?
Is up progress, or is up going backwards? We've definitely had some really nice attempts where, like, the randomly generated stage, the X2 stage, takes like 2.5 minutes, because it jerks me around in all kinds of directions.
Well, and just the length of the X2 stages is random in the first place. Like, even if you're going through it normally, the amount of time it will take you is just random.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's also rather interesting to play, or to do attempts, because there's a lot of just, like, doing it and seeing what your time ended up being and deciding how okay you are with how much time it's. And it's not that you did anything wrong, just it takes how long it takes. And that results in some like multiple minute swings in what your time is. So a lot of our like best time for a level is even like a minute or more ahead of what we ended up getting, but
yeah,
you can't you can't win the lottery every single level.
Utterly useless metric.
Yeah.
It's also probably... Oh, man, this one. Yeah, this is a really tough one.
Yeah, this one's rough. So, I decided... yeah, you can see, like, this one gets kind of clogged up pretty bad. So, one of the skills I had to develop was figuring out how to make enough space to get the startup to the charge. But anyway, something I'd always been curious about this, because I have a whole lot of downtime in the start of this game. We're 10 minutes into this video, and I've been dead for 5 minutes.
Oh, nice. You actually timed it?
Yep.
Good. Yeah, I've been curious about that, too. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's not quite as bad through the rest of the run, but the front of this is very heavily loaded to PJ having to do stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and this is where most of our resets were. I mean, like, resetting for bad luck in the X2 stages and then failing Caves 1. So
yeah,
we saw the first world a lot.
Yeah. So the bosses are much the same as the stages.
Thankfully.
And also, like, just getting here kind of shows another problem with me having Warrior, which is just that he's the only character with no real movement technique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do the charge up run, but it's not actually any faster than just walking.
Yeah, I think when you timed it, it was like optimally chaining the dashes is exactly the same speed as holding up.
Right. Yeah, something like that. So, like, there's times when I'm stuck behind a wall when I can charge it and get some gain out of it, but it's not much. So
might also be...
first world.
Yeah, yep.
I only spent half of it dead.
Man, so Caves is where things start to really get problematic. Caves 1 in particular costs us, I'd say over half of our total routing was done in this stage.
Yeah, there are a lot of walls here. We were awfully close to having to play this stage, and we found the worst clip. Which actually might be the reason that even if you were to gamble with the elf and its like unreliable way of OBing, I don't think the elf could do this.
Yeah, probably not. You have to push me real deep into that corner.
But another trend that kind of starts in the caves is us having to play at least some portion of the stage before we get to the OOB. In Temple, most of them are pretty straightforward right at the beginning, but here it's kind of... there's a little bit of actually playing the game. And then a lot of times I'll try and pre-damage, because once I get PJ out of bounds, I either have to die, or if I die, the stage will end faster.
Yeah, yeah.
And dying with Warrior can be kind of awkward, because... oh, here's the clip, which is just so wrong.
Yes, you have to push me over that table onto the ledge behind it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I'll spawn on the table, which doesn't work. I can't just like walk a little bit forward and go on the ledge, because there's another wall there.
Yeah, there's so many invisible walls, including that pit for some reason.
Yeah, it's crazy. The angle getting across from that ledge is also really precise, because there are infinitely tall invisible walls that stretch like the entire span of the stage, except for that one tiny gap that we're just conveniently able to hit.
Yeah, that Caves 1 probably was half of our routing. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, the Warrior has a passive ability with his health, that if the Warrior is under 30% health, he'll slowly start to regenerate. Which is nice when you're trying to live, but when you're trying to not live, it's not so nice.
Yeah, and Wizard has his counterpart, his survival skill is that he has this shields that, man, I don't, it's like every 8 seconds it comes back up, but it just soaks one hit, no matter the damage value. So as long as you only get hit every 8 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever, you won't take any damage. Which is, again, really nice for survivability, but a real shame when you're trying to die.
Yep.
And something that I've been meaning to mention, but kept forgetting to, is that this is a New Game Plus run. Like, you can obviously tell in the lobby that all of the stages are unlocked. And I think the main reason we did that is just because it's such a huge pain to have to reset your passive progress.
Yeah, like this isn't a game where most people consider new game to be like anything, because like the leaderboard doesn't keep track of anything other than like for individual stages your overall fastest completion with everything. So it's arguable that you could do a new game run and it would be different, but mainly it would just be a lot less safe.
Yeah, it would be less safe. It would be a little bit more tedious too. Like
it'd also be a little slower because a lot of the power-ups are just like you walk a little bit faster, you do a little bit more damage.
Right, and the damage increase is like 20% or maybe 15% per enemy type based on kills that you have on that enemy. And that's actually enough to cross certain thresholds for the wizard. Like, one fireball and one force push will kill an enemy with the passive maxed out, but otherwise it takes, 2 fireballs and some change. So just, like, killing enemies would be a little bit slower, a little bit more tedious.
It doesn't hit any thresholds for Warrior. Warrior just sucks.
Warrior just... yeah.
Warrior is pretty good at attracting attention to himself and not dying.
Mm-hmm.
And those are about his only 2 skills without... doing game-breaking stuff.
So Caves 2 is a stage in which we have to do 2 OOBs. So we backtrack, we grab the potion at the start, because I think I need to do a potion fire dash for one of these skips. I think.
I mean, you must. We wouldn't have wasted that much time getting it if we didn't need it.
Yeah, but... I mean, it's a pretty short thing, and the boots last a pretty long while. Maybe just the move speed increase was enough in our minds, but anyways, we go up here and clear this screen just because it's pretty quick, and I think it pushes us to the next coin threshold. I think we'll get like exactly two coins after this.
Yeah, I think we tried just like grinding out killing enemies on the first fight, but killing the towers is just so much it's just so much towards the next coin that it ended up not being worth it.
Yeah. And you can see the real problem with this duo, which is we have no DPS.
Well, your DPS is decent when you can get enemies to leave you the hell alone, but...
Yeah, and against towers, because towers are tall, so the firebomb hits.
Yeah.
But against normal enemies, it's like basically just sustained fireballs, the best I can do. So this was interesting. This is where, oh yeah, you just run across the gap. That's right. The slam dunk doesn't work there.
Yeah, I think it would. It just doesn't matter. That death is also a little tricky because of the warrior's regeneration. I have to make sure I get hit by the 2 barrels right, or else I'll just live through it and then we're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. So those 2 tokens are to revive me for the clip and then to revive Murph, so that he can put me through another wall.
Well, and because we have to do this fight anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we'll end up getting 1 more token from this fight. One of the nice things about the way we do this is that it tends to give you a lot more towards the next token if you don't have one already. So it makes it pretty simple to get this. And
was this the time where a dead guy... Oh, okay. One of our attempts, there was, like, one of the dead bodies was just lying on the ground for, like, 20 seconds and then stood up afterwards. We were like, why is this gate not opening? What happened here? Oh, I guess that guy is not dead enough.
just run right over that. And to be clear, on my screen, that doesn't look like that. It just looks like me running, like, along the edge, or stuck in place on the edge. But the netcode does weird things.
So each of these X2 stages has their own gimmick in each world. So in Crypts, the gimmick is that death is floating around and chasing you. And if he touches you, then you're just dead. Regardless. Yeah, it's great. I love that gimmick. Yeah, regardless of like the barrier that Wizard has or any other passives. I don't even remember what Elf and Valkyrie have, but it doesn't matter. Death will kill you if he touches you. The gimmick here is that everything is dark, which is kind of a pain because it's hard to scope out what the screens are.
Yeah, every once in a while we got a screen that would like look like it forked. and you just kind of have to guess, or you'll just get a giant room with one exit, and you have to run along the wall and figure out which way is the right exit.
Yeah, and we had one, I don't know if it was in this run or the GDQ run or just another attempt, but we had one where like we entered and the exit was just like backwards kitty corner around a pillar. And so like we entered the room and went to the far other side and there was a solid wall, and north and south also had walls. And we were like, what? Where is the exit? That death was not intentional, I don't think.
I mean, if it was, it didn't matter too much, but I mean, you can see there where the warrior just can't kill things.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievable how bad he is at killing things.
Yeah. If there's a single target, you can usually stun lock him with the cleave and still kill him slower than anybody else, but a little bit safe.
It's easy, it's not fast.
Oh, this stage!
This spider's great. We've had so many. This spider is like so random on what he does. This time he got aggroed like way out in the middle of nowhere. We've had times where he just stands there and watches us without moving.
Uh-huh. And my favorite is when he just makes all of the web in front of the gate, so you have no chance.
Yeah. If he makes too much web, then I can't really do this, and then we lose.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ways you can lose attempts in this game are pretty horrible. We made it through on this one. Yeah. I think, honestly, we only really completed a couple runs where we actually made it through the entire game without it.
I think this is only our second that did that. I think the one before it just got, like, really atrocious luck, or, like, lost 2 minutes on the final boss or something. There was something about it that we were really upset about.
Yeah.
So we improved it. So Caves 3, this was a pretty embarrassing moment for us. So Caves 3, the puzzle here is that like the main door kind of requires that you clear like these 3 branches. I don't remember if you get keys or you push blocks or something, but
yeah, I think you push blocks into the holes and then
you walk across it later, something like that. So you're intended to have to clear these 3 paths, and the gate here is really thick. You'll see it's like a quarter of the height of the screen. So we were like, surely we can't go through that. The gate's just too thick. And then one day we were like, can we just try going through this? And sure enough, we can.
That saved like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
this stage is really weird.
Impressive warrior.
But
it's pretty amazing.
Just kinda.
Yeah, look at this thing. Yep, just up we go. Oh, and I think just prior to finding that, we used to take the right branch, didn't we? And there was a super stupid clip, like 80% of the way through that we could do.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't do the stage fully even before that, but
yeah,
it was certainly more. We had a couple stages that were like that, where we had a route, and then we're like, why don't we just try this stupid thing? And of course it worked.
So yeah, here's a good instance of where is the door.
Yeah. Also, oddly, we got a key, but there was no key door,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure is not supposed to happen. Like, as soon as we saw the key, we gunned it for him, because it's like, well, we got to kill the key guy.
Yeah.
And then we got another one.
Yep. This time, at least, we were like, well, we've already got a key. We may as well just go.
Yeah, find the door and just leave.
So now that we're out of the first world, where I don't really do anything besides fire dash, you can see a little bit more of what the wizard is able to do. So his system is kind of set up like Magicka. Did you just destroy that potion?
I absolutely did.
Good.
I showed it before.
Good work. Yeah, so he has a fire element, lightning element, and ice element, and you combine 2 elements to make a spell. So he's got 9 different spells. You'll see all of them in this run except for Ice Beam, which I think is the worst in the game and is widely considered to be the best in the game for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, we got a spider. That stinks.
We got a spider, but I don't... Oh, yeah, we did have to fight him.
I mean, we could have OOB'd through there, but...
Yeah. Could have.
At some point, just fighting the spider is fine.
And nearly my entire mirrors missed because he hid behind a pillar.
Yeah.
That was
So-
lovely.
Yeah, it definitely would have been better if we didn't get a spider. But
It is what it is. We only got 1 spider and 3 stages, so it's okay.
yeah. Considering we had runs where we'd get like 3 spiders, it's like, great.
3 spiders and no potions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
potions in this
potions-
too are weird, because like Gauntlet tradition is that you get a potion to repel death, and potion is like a full screen magic attack. But in this, potions let you activate your relics once, which I think is a pretty cool change. But certainly the first time I was playing, it was like, oh, there's death. I got a potion. Where's my potion use button?
Yeah, I definitely think they did a better job in the big update they did later on this game where the potion uses became more character specific.
Yeah.
In this version of the game, it's just every character has all the same relics.
Yeah, and the relics we'll be using are boots, which make just your character faster, and it makes surrounding enemies slower. The mirrors, which make clones of yourself that will attack enemies unless you're warrior. Then they'll
Which
just
case-
slam dunk in place.
Yep, it'll just continuously attack the floor in the general vicinity. Incredible.
Mirrors are incredibly powerful with the wizard, and really good with Valkyrie too. But with warrior, it's just useless. And then the other one is the feather, which gives your whole team like a 25% speed boost. I think that's one also that's supposed to turn enemies into food.
Yeah, it does.
But in this difficulty, I don't remember. Do they actually
I
turn
think
into
it's
food in this
still
one?
I still think it generates actual food in this difficulty.
Does it? Okay. I'm
Anyway,
sure we use it in Temple, so we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the boss. I don't know what I thought that charge was going to do.
Yeah, that angle was cute. This lizard is showing you what, though.
I don't know what happened there. This is kind of an example of what happens when it goes wrong. You got to get really creative with positioning to try and set up a charge, because once you've started the charge, you're invincible most of the time, unless something bad happens. Sometimes you're not invincible, and then you get hit during the charge, and then the netcode does weird stuff.
Oh, then you get the reverse backwards slam dunk.
This is pretty great. Anyway, so this stage, I think.
Oh,
this
this one.
is the one where we just naturally OOB.
Yeah, the unassisted.
The geometry here is just weird, so you can just kind of jump and make this.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and you
then
got it
you're
in
out.
2 tries, too.
And this is a good example or a good place. Do I? Okay, I do.
Yeah.
So. So there's some places where there's not a floor, and if your character falls far enough, the game just erases them from existence. You're not dead. It actually like takes away your ability to respawn and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It removes you from the HUD. You're just gone.
Anyway, so the Temple 2 stages are weird. We have to do a lot of screen manipulation to try and prevent ourselves from having to do fights, which I have no recollection of how that goes in this run.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this. These stages were really fun to play. There's so much awareness required.
Yeah. If it wasn't for these stages, I'd overall say this run had been like really pretty boring to do. Like, it's fine. It's not like the worst run I've done or anything, but it's the Temple 1-2 stages are definitely the exciting one. So there is a pretty good one.
That was good, yeah.
Just because so the game won't initiate the trap fights unless it has trapped all of the players in the fight. So if it can't do that for whatever reason, then the doors will never close. So by having me hold the screen back while PJ goes forward, he's already out of the fight, and then I can just go through.
And it makes it extra exciting for me too, because then I have 15% of the screen to work with, and I have no idea what's in front of me.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll skip the fight and then get hit backwards back into the arena. Sometimes I'll just like die. I'll be killed because there's 10 enemies on the other side of that doorway.
Yeah, and I remember like we tried doing it the other way, like having you wait behind and me go forward, but it just didn't work. Like,
No.
first of all, I was usually already behind because unlike Wizard, I don't have a movement ability.
Why did that gate open? There were still enemies in that arena.
What? Yeah, I think the main thing was just that I was usually behind. That was a really nice one.
That was, yeah. You just happened to be ahead. I got stuck on stuff, and we recognized that we were able to skip it, so we did.
Yeah. Wow, that was a really good one too.
That was. So this area has a few different enemies. It has the tiny guys that you can just kill, and then it has the demons. I think there's... let me think. Is there another class, or are all the small guys cultists?
There's like the small cultists, the big cultists that revive.
Okay.
Academons, the flying imp guys, and
Yeah.
the satellite laser cultists.
Yeah, so these guys in the center are the reviving cultists. And all the the lighter gray ones around the perimeter, when you kill them, they're just dead. But if I freeze the reviving cultists and then kill them, they don't get revived. Oh dear.
Yeah, this...
Did this satellite beam miss you?
I have no idea what I must have touched him or something.
Miracle. So we found setups in heavy quotes that allow Murph like one clear chance per arena.
Yeah.
And if he misses it, or if we screw up the setup, or if one stray enemy walks over and punches him, then it's like, oh, well...
Yeah, because I can't just take time to hit the enemies. Like, I'm not going to keep up with their respawn rate. I can't really make enough space because I don't actually go faster than anybody. My best bet is to do the spin attack, hope I clear enough space, and go.
Yeah, because the spin attack's got a pretty substantial cooldown.
Yeah. And, like, I'm invincible during it, but it doesn't even, like, I did it there and it didn't even kill the Keiko demons.
No.
The warrior is awful. This whole stage is great, too, because it is a lot of PJ running around and collecting all this stuff and opening doors and doing stuff, and I'm just kind of I'm trying to keep up.
And I'm also here. Yeah, the lightning shield is super convenient. It blocks all projectiles and it repels enemies. So it's on a really long cooldown, but if I only have to use it every 30 seconds or so to, use the crank, it's really great. We want these potions, and I don't know why. Probably
I
the
think we just wanted them for the 1-2 stage in general.
Yeah.
They were right there.
I think so. So here I make a shield for Murph to use the crank, because otherwise he's helpless.
Yeah, there is no chance.
Super terrifying satellite beam here.
It'd be fine.
That's
Yeah,
another
this was
one.
another stage where we had a setup where we went further in the stage and we tried to clip over a cliff and it was awful.
Yeah.
And we're just like, why don't we just go through this wall?
Surely that won't work. There's nothing on the other side of it, and it's way too thick. But, okay, well, just spawn me inside the wall, and I'll jump over the cliff then.
Yep.
From ashes into flame once again.
There are a lot of situations in these X2 stages. Wow, get some.
Oh, you got clobbered.
Man. Yeah, there are a lot of situations in these stages where a death abuse or like a short OB just to get through a gate would be faster theoretically, but like we would have to recognize it so quickly and be set up to do it and actually hit it.
Yeah.
To save
and
time.
There'd be a lot of risk involved too.
This is what it means to
I was so slow in that situation that I didn't want to go down there.
Yeah, your DPS contribution is so minimal that you walking down and hitting him once or twice is not worth it, as opposed to just standing by the
more time
gate.
than me going straight to the crank. Now, given we got screwed by an extra wave anyway, because the number of waves you get is random, but
Yeah, those are the worst feeling. You get an extra wave of 4 enemies that spawn in the exact corners of the arena, just to waste all your time. These Keiko demons, they'll charge up their dash attack, but if you hit them with anything, it resets the timer of it. So, as I'm running past, I just want to, like, push them or hit them once with a fireball or something, just to stall them, so we don't have 10 flaming Keiko demons chasing after us.
Yeah.
Because then you get what happened to me at the start of the arena, where I'm just gone.
Yet another example of where PJ has to, like, pay attention and think and do things during this run. Well, I just go, I'm walking.
Here's this asshole.
Yeah, I'd probably better not do that, because I'll have to slow down.
Yeah, we're sitting there waiting for the gate to open, and there's just one dude at the back sitting around. It's a nice corridor. These fireballs that come from the pit are random too, which is really nice. They can set you up in some incredible ways.
I mean, even when they just block you when there's a bunch of enemies around can be obnoxious, but every once in a while it'll be just no chance at all.
There's a lot of running in this. There aren't many arenas.
Yeah.
This has been pretty okay, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do most of the arenas, but just the fact that there were a few of them is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Probably technically would have been better off dying there, but yeah, you know.
How dare you cost us 1.5 seconds? Do I not give you an ice wave here? No, I guess not. You're just on your own.
Yep. Take the damage boost. I feel like that was the most common way to set this up if the initial thing failed, was just take a damage boost and then start charging.
Yeah. Yeah, use that half second of iframes to charge up.
Yep. And now the longest stage in the game.
This one is so good.
This is one of the good ones. So, one of the things we figured out in playing this game is that bridges are actually a lie. Bridges are actually just always there when they're up, and instead they just put invisible walls in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, this happened.
Bye. Yeah, so this stage has 4 quadrants that you have to clear, and at the end of each one of them you raise the level of the lava. And then when all 4 are filled, that moat is filled enough that a bridge is formed. A bridge floats to the top. But yeah, the bridge is always there. It's just blocked by an invisible wall, so we don't have to do any of that stage.
We're closing in on a massive energy convergence.
3-2 is always exciting. This stage usually lasts a million years.
Yeah, it's also just like, it's at the point in the run where we know, like, generally how good we've done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have a pretty good idea of what our time is looking like here, so it's where you're going like, oh god, we really have to not screw this up.
Yeah, this is a great arena, too. Look at this layout.
Yeah, gigantic, just tons of enemies. Nice blocking terrain so that I actually have to kill things.
Yeah, I actually have to kill things. Can't just stand by the exit this time.
Crazy.
At least it was only one wave. That's convenient.
Yeah, it was a big one, but it was one wave.
Just leave you to your own devices back there.
Yeah. It is incredible what you can live through as the warrior if your only objective is to stay alive, but
Mm-hmm.
at some point you have to contribute something.
That's not true. Wow. Wow, that's a pretty rough setup for me down there.
Yeah, guys.
All the guys waiting around the corner, and I didn't have a camera to move around them.
Yep. Wow, that was mean for him to start that up from there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did he not fire it?
No, he got me.
No.
The game probably just gave you a break because you're the warrior.
I might have iframed through it with the spin. 'Cause he does at least have that.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm thinking about this, I remember we had an issue where, like, I would run past enemies and they'd, like, swing and miss me, and for some reason you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, that sucks.
that does.
We could have gotten through it for sure. Because, yeah, I remember, like, when I was playing, I would just literally ignore the enemies and go. And, like, you would complain that you couldn't do that, and I didn't understand.
Yep.
I still don't really know why.
Might have been a host-client thing.
Yeah.
I definitely remember getting hit by enemies that swung at you. Like, they'd swing at you and I'd, like, be following behind and their swing would hit me. Like, well, great.
Oh, I spent a lot of this run at 30% health, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's a good passive.
It is a really good passive. If, like, literally if they'd given Warrior one move that did actual damage, he would be a really good character. But
Alas. Thank you, Pit Fireball.
oh, that was a nice setup.
Yeah, no kidding. How about that one? some really good ones here.
Yeah, they blocked us really well.
Oh no, Fireball, you better go down into this little alcove. Oh, sorry, there are 8 demons there now. So one nice thing about the dash or the 3-2 stage is that the fireballs are more frequent, and they do a lot of damage to enemies. So they nearly killed that entire bottom right wave.
They probably have a better number of kills than I do in this stage.
It's likely.
Well, that was a nice one too.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, and here we got to the end, so because I'm so slow and because PJ can just do this on his own anyway, I'm better off just being dead.
Yeah, I think after you died, I was able to use boots, too. I think I had a potion. The move speed boost that you get from boots is far greater than what you get from feather. It just doesn't apply to both characters. So, yeah, with Murph dead, the screen was able to just follow me, and I was able to use the faster one.
Yeah, and then plus the stage ends instantly if all the characters who are alive are in the door instead of giving them a 3-second timer.
Right, yeah. So
And I did a lot of these stages without nice shield setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know there was one where you said that the ice wave made it harder for you, but I thought for most of them I still used it. I
don't know. I think it got to the point where we had so many emergency ones that I just got used to having to emergency do it. Anyway, so this is the reason that we didn't bother improving this run anymore. Because this boss is not skippable by any means that we've found to make work consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And is completely awful.
Yeah, it's like, what, 8 forced cycles?
I don't know. I never counted. I zoned out super hard during this fight.
It's really bad.
And to make matters worse, if you look at the leaderboards, the best team for this is exactly Valkyrie Elf for 2 players. So we kind of have a problem.
Yeah, and you are able to change characters, but we didn't want to.
Yeah,
It feels more right to pick 2 characters and use them for the entire game as opposed to.
It'd be one thing if we were like switching characters constantly and that was how the game worked, but when you play through every single other stage with a set of characters, switching at the last second is pretty disingenuous to what you've done.
Yeah.
So, but, if anybody wants to actually grind this game out anyway, they can certainly put time into getting better random luck. But anyway, this is a lot of him making these black portals, and then you kill all the enemies, and then you hurt him a little bit, and then you do a cycle.
Yeah, it's so awful.
Like, the other 2 bosses weren't great, but they were at least like reasonably interesting. Like the first boss had a gimmick that was fine.
Yeah, he I think was only like 2 or 3 cycles.
Well, he wasn't cycle based. I mean, you wouldn't kill him in one cycle, but strictly speaking, I don't think you were limited in how much damage you could do to him.
Right. But I think, like, even if your DPS was really slow or really low, you'd probably kill him in 3 cycles.
Yeah.
Or, like, the start of the 4th. And with, like, a really good team, it's okay.
Yeah, and then the second boss is just, like, big guy that runs around and you hit him. There's no cycles at all, to my recollection.
He does leave. He jumps into the water.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was a cycle. It was the thing that you just kind of did sometime.
I thought it was... I thought he became invulnerable, but it's been 5 years since we played this.
Fun.
Yeah.
This boss is just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, so he, for the first 2 cycles, he is... I think it does... the cycles are based on health. I don't think it's time-based, because he's run around for 1,000,000 years before.
Yeah, I think, like, eventually, if you don't hit him, he will, like, end the cycle. But it's a really big window.
Yeah. And I think it's 8. I think it's 8 cycles. In each wave here, he gives you 3 portals with enemies from that world. So I think it's 3 waves of the World 1 enemies, and then I think it's 2 waves of the World 2, and then 4. I guess that would give us 9 cycles. We can count, I guess, but
yeah,
it's just awful.
I know it's weird because you get more of the World 3 and less of the World 2 enemies.
Yeah.
Which is just weird to me.
Yeah, so, like, with Wizard, the best DPS that I can do is alternating between Fireball. So all of his 9 spells have independent cooldowns. But there's no cooldown for, like, swapping, so you can just cycle between all of the spells that aren't on cooldown and use them. And the best DPS against, like, towers would be Fireball, and then this Arcing Fire Bomb, and then Fireball, and then the Force Push, and you cycle between those 4. Against short targets, it's just Fireball, Fireball, Force Push, Fireball, Fireball, Force Push, which is really bad. It's super low damage. And Warrior has nothing to contribute.
I just right-click and then do the spin when it comes off cooldown. That's it.
Wizard is convenient here because the Chain Lightning will it doesn't go through, like, all targets nearby. It kind of tries to propagate in a straight line. But it'll still get rid of a lot of his clones. So you can identify the real target.
And there's no benefit to clearing out the extra fakes. You just want to kill the real one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as I can remember, the enemies never go away.
Yeah, they'll just swarm forever if you don't clear them out.
Yeah, so with this team, we definitely don't want the enemies spread out. We want them to be as clustered as possible. But he's giving us these, like, really wide triangular formations where we just can't group enemies. So it's nice if, like, 2 portals are adjacent and I can just use that the ice fields things and slow all of them down and then just hit them with the bomb.
Like, because I can kind of keep one portal under control by myself. Like, not well, but I can at least prevent it from getting too messy.
Mm-hmm.
and if they're close, BJ can handle all 3 of them. But you know,
Yeah, these ogres live forever because we just can't do damage.
takes me like 5 slams to kill one or something. And that's just one sitting there by itself.
So I don't think we get cultists in this. We get the sorcerers, the gargoyles, and the demons. Oh, I guess we get the non-reviving cultists.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah,
think it even summons the Keiko demons either.
no, it doesn't. But you get into situations like these where you have 3 volleys of fireballs from different directions to deal with. One of these dudes is always going to be channeling the satellite beam, because of course he is. So you have to get rid of him. And you still have to try and keep up with clearing the other enemies or damaging whatever this guy's name is.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's a... I mean, fortunately, like, actually losing isn't a big risk because of how the coins work. Like, we've built up so many coins, and if we run low, we'll build them up even faster, so, like, you can die a bunch of times. But it's not fun.
No, it's not.
Oh, right, I can't even stun the imps. They just keep attacking anyway.
And he keeps targeting me with this thing, which the wizard can't actually move fast enough to dodge. So I have to fire dash, but if my fire dash is on cooldown, because I used it to avoid certain death from another enemy, then I'm going to die.
Man, I was actually doing pretty good with aiming dash slashes in this one. Usually it's hard to line up.
Yeah, you did a good job of interrupting the casters, which is really good. Look at this great equilateral triangle he made here.
Yeah. He knows, man. He knows how to make it awful.
I'm like, I guess I'll just throw this in the center.
Yeah, that's what usually happens, is the dash, like, barely misses and you knock him over and do no damage.
Yeah. Don't worry, only one more cycle. Probably.
Maybe.
Oh wait, is this the version where he ends with, like, magic pixel of health and you have to do another cycle?
I don't know. I just, like, I really do remember our runs ending with, hopefully this is it, because we don't want to play this boss again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know for the GDQ run, we were hoping that we fell through the floor and soft-locked on this boss so we
Yep.
could just mercy kill the run.
Yep, that would have been the best way to end that, but alas. Yeah, that was a good one when that happened.
Yeah, that was a really nice attempt, because that was a deathless run, too. What the hell is that attack?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it.
I guess Adria was selling the Book of Firewave, and he learned it. Yeah, that other attempt, I think, was deathless. And then we got here and fell through the floor on the boss, and we were like, what? Alright.
Yeah, that's not great.
We're down to 0 tokens.
I mean, for now. Look how fast we build them when we're at 0, though.
Hope this isn't the wrong recording.
I don't know. I didn't provide it, so we're probably fine.
This fight is so miserable.
Yeah.
They didn't make it any better in the new version either. It's the same thing, except the arena is worse.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't know what they're even going for, really. Oh, thank God he died.
Yeah.
We're still getting beat up.
Yeah! What a game.
So, yeah, that's the game. One thing that I really liked about this run was we did it, and some of the people who do leaderboard times, like, tuned in,
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out how the heck we got the times we did, and they weren't even mad about it. They were just like, oh, that's how you did it.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for being a cool community.
Yeah. And they put in some really good work. They got some super good times with Elf and Valkyrie playing legit instead of doing this cheaty stuff that we did. So, that's that. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. It was a time.